Geek Dad Life presents Screen Geeks, a live TV and film talk show. Tonight we're gonna talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and why it may be the best Marvel movie we've gotten in a very long time. We'll talk about all of that and more tonight on Screen Geeks. Oh man, Ralph. It's titled this episode Cried, We Cried, whatever it was, put on there. An emotional conclusion to the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise as James Gunn gets ready to take things over on the DC side of things. Already working on the new Superman movie, but he had one last job to do on the Marvel side, and it was this movie. And I was excited for it, thinking that we're just assuming that everybody was going to die. But Colleen, my wife, she was like, I don't want to see it. I'm sick of these Marvel movies. But I really loved it. We all went as a family, had a great time. Ralph, how did you first take on it? What did you think?
I was excited to see it for sure.
Yeah.
I think looking at the slate of Marvel movies coming up, I was like, this could be it for me. This is like, as far as excitement level goes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's coming out that had me more excited than this. And so it's kind of tough. And then the movie goes and turns out real good.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
Yeah, it's I feel like this is Andor. And whatever's coming up next is going to be Mandalorian
season 3.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be like here's this quality thing, and now we're going to try to go back to business as usual,
to the crapola, if you will.
Well, no, I mean, I like them when I see them all, but nothing sticks. I don't remember anything about Quantumania. I don't remember anything about a lot of the movies. But the Guardians one seemed to stick with me a little bit more.
No, I agree.
So
it did have more weight to it for sure. Let's say hello to the chat. It is hopping, even when we're a little late. That's my fault. We got JT Kell here, Lucha Johnny, Ralph is here, Cobweb, Doralaxian, Dartherian is in the house, Nick Dillinger, Charlie Weaver, Toy Geekosaurus, Matt Bush is here. We are talking screens. Judy is here. Did I do Doralaxian? I'll do Doralaxian again. Cobweb, Matt Bush, Pizza and Pickles, Kayla's here. Smack the like, everybody. Dartherian is here. Kayla's other account is here. Colleen is in the house. Studio Henge is here. Hi, Brandon 3G. Thank you for hanging out and talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It just came out this weekend, so, I think it's only fair that we give our old-fashioned spoiler alert. So just beware. We're going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And if you don't want to be spoiled, here's your last warning. It's not that we don't want you here. Hit the like button, get out of here, and then come back once you've seen the movie.
Right.
So last chance. And okay, there we go. But yeah, I think, it's no joke, or it's no, sometimes, or it's well known that I'm a crier when it comes to movies and TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes if I know it's going to be really emotional, I'll almost avoid it, like the Black Panther movie. Still haven't seen it because I'm just not emotionally ready to see that film. And it wasn't like a movie that everyone's like, oh my God, it's the greatest movie in the history of the world.
Right. They address, well, here, if you want to watch Black Panther, they address Chadwick Boseman at the beginning in the first 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's sort of a looming thing, but then also mid credits also.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot about that. It's so forgettable. I didn't even mention it in that's come out within the last year, and I completely forgot about that movie.
Mm-hmm. Um,
I didn't care for it.
so
Um,
the trailer for this thing was it seemed really depressing, and like
that's what
everybody
jacked
was
this.
gonna
That's
die.
what jacked me up this movie. So the trailer was like everyone's gonna die.
Yes.
Every shot in the trailer was every single person crying.
Yep.
Every shot was looked like someone had died.
Yep.
And so like sitting there the whole time, uh, you're like, there's that going on. You're like, okay, someone's gonna die. Then you put on top of that the Rocket backstory,
Mm-hmm.
just super heavy.
Yep.
You take the kids to this one?
We did. We took the kids, but
How'd
you
that
know, a lot
go?
of people gave warnings. It was all over, blah blah blah. And so we had the discussion about movies and not being real, and because Alex, my youngest 5, loves the first or has loved the first 2 movies. He loves
Right.
Groot. Groot's like his dude, right? Like he's like the
Right.
pre-Grogu cute guy. So we had that discussion, and Zach was next to me, Alex was next to Colleen, and for the most part, they actually weren't too scared throughout all of it. I mean, even the stuff with animals is awful, but they cut away a lot. Like I don't. The
Right.
biggest thing I think was the bunny rabbit person, but and then the little electronic eyelids for the walrus. That was kind of
right.
that, and then the when he takes his face off. Those were like this. I think the scary parts for the kids, or at least
But
where they.
you had like a whole satellite made of like giant body parts. There's that town of like animal people that get
Yes.
exploded. Like there's a lot of stuff in this. This is a hard PG-13.
It is. It is.
There's
I mean, pretty hard fucking in there. Spoiler alert.
yeah. Yeah. You get away with talk like that on Geek Dad Life too.
Oh, we're 7 minutes in. We're fine now. It's usually the first 2 minutes.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know any of the YouTube rules. I just
Um.
come out swinging on my shows.
He said. Colleen said, except when the mom figure died, that part he got, and that's when he sat with me the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think a lot of the torture is implied, so it didn't hit them the same way I think it.
But
hit
it's
them.
like the eyeball shot with the reflection of the needle, and it's like all that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a parent, so I really shouldn't care. But I was just like, wow, like not to talk about toys, but you can get some of these guys in a Happy Meal. You know?
It is. It's the Happy Meal right now.
Yeah.
I mean, is it? It's not as bad as, or I didn't think it was bad. Because I love Batman Returns, but the McDonald's Batman Returns toys was like controversial.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like Batman Returns, and you're just giving kids toys and a Happy Meal.
Did any of the toys gush blood out of their nose?
No.
All right, no more toy talk. John's in the chat.
He's fine. He's asleep. He's fast asleep. He's probably asleep an hour and a half to 2 hours ago.
Is he? I picture him sleeping in a sleeping bag in his
shoe shop.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Even though he is there a lot. I haven't seen it yet. I think this weekend I'm going to help out.
I wish I could be there. Like I want to help John. I think a lot of us do. I think a lot of us would like wish they can go. Just like
just help.
Watch a toy shop form. But
I'm going to bring my GoPro. We're just going to get some good time lapse shots.
Go for it.
That's the plan. That's my plan on Saturday anyway. Kids are going to my parents. Colleen's gonna, I don't know, just enjoy the house to herself in peace and quiet. I'm gonna go help John. But anyway, so I don't know. The trailer set it up that everybody was gonna die. The fact that nobody died.
Nobody.
Not a one.
No.
I thought Star-Lord, when his face is exploding in space.
Right.
But then he comes back and is like, oh, okay, I guess he's fine. He was like, we find the next scene.
This is the movie where Star-Lord forgot to pack his helmet and rocket shoes.
That's true. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, well, he's got like where was that stuff?
I don't know.
We did have a Skeletor joke in the movie. We had a Panther.
It is a Panther. I think Nick Dillinger mentioned
figure.
that up top.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed those.
But anyway, all right. So, Ralph, were you okay
So
with
hard to
nobody
talk
dying?
about
Did it feel like a bait and switch?
I think, I mean, it made me tense the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically what the trailers did, was make me tense the whole time.
Yes.
And I was tense and I was anxious. And even though I know like Rocket's backstory was probably something like this, somewhere along torture and mutilation, because that was set up in the first one when they're putting on their prison guards, and Quill looks at his back. Like we knew it wasn't going to be fun.
Yeah.
So like just those two things, and like the opening shot, like so Guardians 1, Peter's mom dies. That's the cold open. Pretty heavy stuff.
It is. It hits you hard.
The second one is Ego in the 70s with and you know that's going to get messed up.
Yeah.
Cuz this one, the very first shot is a bunch of tiny raccoons in a scary cage with a hand coming in and reaching in for them, and it's like, oh man, I don't want to see how this goes. And I knew it was coming, and James Gunn has been posting like CGI tests for the animals like for the last 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure every single test of the animals have been them dancing or them running around and laughing, and it's like that's not they didn't use any of that stuff for the movie. It's all just like to see how the fur moves when they're laying on the floor getting tortured or shot.
Murdered.
Robot arms.
Yeah.
So it was all felt very, very heavy. It put me in a funk. It really did. We saw it Saturday night, and so like just with the animals in the cages and stuff and all of this stuff, it really put me in a funk. And then so we brought back our show Dharmalars, where we're covering Sweet Tooth, the show Sweet Tooth right now. And so Sunday morning, you wake up and you get to put on the show so you can review it for the podcast. And it's about kid animals in cages, and it's like, Jesus Christ, like I can't get free. But yeah, I think if I were to see it again, I'd be a lot less tense because I know everyone's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And everything that's happening to Rocket is already in the past.
Yep.
But it's still really hard to shake that. Like we know Rocket's alive and the other ones are probably going to die, but it still kind of hits hard. And I know there's CG. I know it's all data on a server or hard drive, but they know how to do that stuff. Pixar does it now. These guys, and I don't know. Like a lot of the movie's fun and there's fun stuff, but at the same time, like literally anybody's gonna die at any moment. Like, so I was like, it's hard to just kick back and have a good time.
That's true. But now, does that make it a bad trailer, right? Because did it like hamper your experience?
It's funny. It's kind of more funny. Like when we used to watch Lost, they would show like a preview of next week's, like after the episode you just watched.
Yeah. And
it would always be the most serious trailer ever. And what's in the bag and what's going on and what's in the thing. All your questions, it's all this huge thing. And then you watch the next week's episode and you're like, oh, what's in the bag is like golf balls or something. I don't know.
Yes.
it was like something that didn't matter. So I wasn't mad so much as I was like, that's hilarious how they cut that trailer, because when they're all walking and the sky is on fire and they're holding Peter Quill, it's because he's drunk.
Yes. Yes.
And so I'm like, okay. Like as you're watching it, you're like, oh man, that trailer was manipulative, but I still didn't trust it. Like they fooled us at least 3 times. Like where Quill is above Rocket's body and yelling. Like
Yes.
that's in the trailer, and that's a really heavy moment.
It is.
But that's like the first like 20 minutes of the movie, and kind of what propels the plot. So it's like, so like every time one of those things happened from the trailer, I'm like, you got me again. Like I should have seen that they were all going to be okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it just, yeah. And even when Peter was floating, like James Gunn understands movie tropes
Yes.
and he likes messing with people. Like it
Yes.
definitely felt like, okay, this is where we all expect our big death. So
Yeah.
why not play up the trailer and have see all those scenes and see everybody
Yes.
escape and be okay? But you just get to that point where he's floating out into space and everybody's crying and the music's playing exactly how every single other Marvel movie plays the music when a
Mm-hmm.
big character dies.
Yep.
And he's just like leaning into this tropes. And then Adam Warlock shows up. And they
Yes.
even pushed it so far to where his like head is expanding. It's like they're
Yes.
really like
at that point, I was like, oh, he's dead. He's not
right.
being saved.
Right. He didn't fall down a shaft into smoke and is going to
Yeah.
pop up later in a different
Yes.
thing,
Yes.
you know. So this was like, oh, he's done for. And I
Yeah.
was
Which I was
I
fine with
sat
because I
through
was like,
like
he's
2
kind of
hours.
annoying. So.
I sat like 2 hours and 15 minutes through this thing, and I've accepted this is what we're losing. We're
Yes.
losing Chris Pratt, who has a career outside of Guardians now
Yes.
and doesn't need to continue on the
Yep.
franchise. He could be like Tony Stark. He could be like
Mm-hmm.
all those guys. Like he's the big sacrifice. He's like,
Yep.
I'm good to move on. And then he got saved, and I'm like, holy crap. Okay. All right. Everyone's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
And not only that, but like Star-Lord's the one character that I guess is at least moving on because, the post-credit scene is him having, cereal with his grandpa or whatever. And then it ends
Right.
like Star-Lord will return or the incredible Star-Lord will return or whatever it said.
Right.
So I was like, oh, he's the one that will continue on.
I loved after that card came up and it cut to black. It had to have been a good like 20 seconds of
Yes.
serial noises in darkness, which
Yes.
I thought was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I thought it was hilarious. Can I talk about I don't know how deep we want to get into this right now,
Sure.
but can I talk about
Wherever
the
we want to go.
mid-credit scenes? The
What
mid-credit
scenes?
scene? The mid-credit.
Okay, yeah.
With Rocket leading the new Guardians.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what we're calling them. So after this big old ordeal where we see them save all of these animals off of the Master Blaster's spaceship,
Yes, yes.
are they just going to kill those stampeding animals?
It's different, Ralph. They're not cute. Okay.
I mean, well, you saw Mantis let free that one dude that definitely wasn't cute.
Yeah, that was funny.
But it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, what's
Maybe
this threat that's coming? But
maybe they're setting their phasers to stun.
Kraglin shot that arrow, and that arrow does not stun.
That does seem a little.
I just didn't know. I'm hoping like you could see Rocket's gun was like a portal gun or something.
Yes.
Like that would divert him. But
Sure.
it was just like, I'm like, we literally just went through this whole movie. Ryan Moore on Darmalars mentioned that the cereal that Peter Quill's eating at the end is like a vegan cereal.
Mm-hmm.
It's Magic Spoon. And I'm like, so they're really nailing home the fact that this is, pro animal, anti
Except
testing on
animals because they're dicks.
I guess. Show me their dicks. not show me they are. Yeah.
Yes,
show me they are.
They dicks. Are. They
show me their dicks. That's something else. But that was the thing. That was the one thing these two were like, what? There's another thing going around, and I guess James Gunn confirmed this or not, but at the end of the movie, again, spoilers, Groot says, I love you guys.
Yeah.
Now, did he increase his vocabulary?
No.
Or is that us, the audience, now part of the family understanding group? That's what we thought. Interpreted it. Now, this is what I want to know. And this is what's going to make me watch it a second time.
Okay.
The lip animation. Does the lip animation still say "I am Groot"? I
Oh.
want to know, because I feel like if that's the intention, is that we understand him now, just the way Gamora, just like it's set up. Gamora just
Mhm.
figured it out what he
Yeah.
was saying, because she's kind of thought of his family now.
Yeah.
I want to see the mouth animation.
Yeah.
Show me their dicks and show me Groot's mouth animation. They are.
Um, what's that? They are. They
They
are.
are. Um,
Yeah, to me, I
but
even if
wouldn't
it
that be
doesn't,
cool though?
it would
Wouldn't
it
that be
would be
cool?
really cool. It would be really cool. But even if it's not, like I still, it's just us. It just you wouldn't have
Yeah,
teed up
it's
the
us
whole thing with
yeah.
Gamora and being like, what? Okay, you're just making up
Mhm.
what he's saying. Um, and no, it's like you're. I thought it was perfect. I thought it was so brilliant.
It was so good. It was so good.
Um, but yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Same way Gamora got it. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
We thought so too. But I guess some
Uh,
people were wondering.
yeah. My question is, when we see him in the post credit scene, which is a time has passed and Groot is a really big, imposing figure.
And one
He
of the
looks,
kids looks like a teenager.
I guess, but he looks significantly different than the Groot we saw in the first. Like, what is that Groot, or is it just
It's just
maybe how
Groot.
long does it take to get to the Groot we saw in the first Guardians?
I'm gonna say roughly around, I don't know, probably like something like 7 or 8 years. Because when they freed the kids, they looked like they were like 7 or 8, and that girl looked like she was like
Oh, I was being
probably
more Groot. Groot looks
15.
really like when is
No,
Groot
but
look?
that's what I'm saying. That as far as a
Oh,
passage of
okay.
time, the girl that was on the team with the white hair and
Yeah,
the glowy eye,
yeah.
was one of the kids they saved. I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like it was, yeah, there was some time, but yeah, I mean, if I don't know, I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe they use that evolution technology. Rocket's pretty smart. Figured out those machineries before the Grand Inquisitor
Yeah.
figured it out.
Yep.
I like that, dude.
Yeah.
And the
Um,
whole time I'm like, they better mention RoboCop. They 100%
oh,
need to mention
it's
RoboCop in
so
this movie.
RoboCop. Like the whole
Yeah,
it looks
yeah,
just like RoboCop.
it looked just like RoboCop,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, so happy. I'm so happy when they finally did it, because I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Like I know James Gunn wouldn't just like make it RoboCop without mentioning it, but
Yeah. So something that's happened in the MCU post Endgame is I don't know, just it feels, and even though I think I did like the Ant-Man 3 um
that's
issues with
nuts.
Jonathan Majors,
Yeah, I
withstanding,
don't know
but
what's going on with that.
you don't, that's bad. So
Well,
he's
I don't know everything. That no, what I mean is I keep hearing things, and some things may not have happened. Some things may have happened. I don't know. There's video, and it sounds like I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. It's a
it's
mess.
it's a mess. It's a
It's a
mess.
mess. And what's next for him? Loki. It's already shot. Loki
I
season
don't
two.
know. I don't know. Maybe they'll reshoot it or something. I don't know. I really don't know.
You want this dude in there? This guy was awesome.
Who?
And the whole
Oh,
time, the I keep calling him the Grand Inquisitor. Uh,
well, God damn it. I knew his
the
name before coming in the stream. Now I don't remember it.
they'll say it in the chat. They'll say it in the
Yeah,
chat.
yeah. This
The
guy's
the omnipresent galactic
oh,
overseer.
shit. So,
Um, but he's in Peacemaker. He's in
yes.
Peacemaker. Yeah.
His wife is
Okay.
in this one as well as the
Mhm.
woman in the bio. What was the corporation, whatever the hell it was? High Evolutionary. There it is. Damn it.
High evolutionary. There you go. Right.
It's true. Can't reshoot with the writer's strike happening. Didn't even think about that.
Well, I mean, if it's already written,
That's true.
yeah, if it's already written, they could reshoot it. They
Yeah.
just can't do
Mm-hmm.
new stuff. Like I heard back in like 1996 or something, there was a writer's strike, and CBS or NBC, one of the networks, grabbed old Mission Impossible scripts that were done in like the 60s and reshot them for TV. Like Peter Graves came back, and I heard it's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, they literally remade scripts that were written in the 60s that were already shot for Mission Impossible, and they just redid it with new tech.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing. But not that I'm on the side of doing that kind of stuff. I fully support the writers.
Oh, agreed. Yeah. Fully support the writers. 100%.
Right. And I guess James Gunn has completed his Superman script and had already turned it in.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe just pay fucking writers what they're entitled to and what they're worth.
Yeah.
Maybe that could fix things.
Yeah. I like that you're swearing a lot. You're swearing a lot more this time than
well, because it's
you're in After Dark mode.
And I may have already been drinking a few drinks, so
right. And it's me. And it's me you're talking to. You got that I want to know how you guys don't swear on Toy Geeks. How do you keep it
same like with the old Lost podcast? You just have
it's like as soon as you go into After Dark, it's like a completely different. You just flip the switch and it just happens.
Yeah, it's like it's a performance. And what I love about After Dark is it's like it's no longer you're not on stage anymore. It's kind of like we're just hanging out. We're hanging out and it's backstage, It's just to me that's the mental shift is Toy Geeks we're on stage. We are performing live in front of everyone. And then After Dark is we're backstage now. So you don't have to the lights aren't on, all that kind of stuff. Even though the scenery is almost identical. Everything's the same. It's just a different mindset.
Right. I guess I did that at Disneyland, on stage and off stage.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you're on stage, you just you that's the difference.
So I'm gonna ask one toy question about this movie.
Sure.
Were any of the characters toyetic? Did you find any of those caged animals? Like, would you get any of those guys?
No, they give me nightmares.
But they can give you little metal hugs.
Nope. Like to me, the one I thought their story was I thought it was really moving. It was incredible. Right. But it was so it had like those moments in some like Dan Harmon, like say, in Rick and Morty, where he has this moment. It's just a little throwaway kind of line with because just digging into like existentialism and where this little robot is made to like cut the butter to put it on the bread. And then the little robot is like, wait, is this all I'm supposed to do in life is just butter this bread? That's my whole point of existence. And then, Rick is just like, yeah, welcome. Yeah, that's your life. You get used to it or whatever. And it's just like this little line was like, damn, that hits really hard if you kind of get into that existentialist thought. And then this kind of stuff too, where they have this whole understanding of what existence is for them. And then when you just basically pull that rug out from under them, it hits so hard because I think, for a lot of, humanity or human beings and us as individuals, we may have those moments in life where it's like, what the fuck is the purpose of all this or whatever. So it hits so hard. Like, I don't want a fucking toy of that.
All right.
What's your thought? That's my thoughts. I don't want a toy of that.
Yeah, Scott D, I think, was talking about crying. Someone was. Who was talking about crying? So like the animal storyline didn't make me cry. I think I got more emotional when the characters that we've known for the last, 10 years ended up in a good place and we're happy. And, they all separated, which is tough to say goodbye to friends and family. Yep. But for like Gamora, it was great because she was reuniting with people that she connects with. Mm-hmm. And I like that. I like that they didn't force a love story. I like that James Gunn didn't say, when they come crashing off of the ship in each other's arms with the little alien dog, like they didn't. That's where every other Marvel movie would be, where they kiss.
Yes.
and live happily ever after. But that's
Yes.
not happy for the real world,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
So it was nice that they didn't shoehorn that in at all. Um, Again, kind of subverting our expectations, because you don't see that in a Marvel movie. Marvel
Yeah.
movies, the good
The
guys win and
Avengers.
everybody's happy,
Yeah.
and it was nice to see that. Happiness comes in different forms. Like
Hmm.
there's this sort of like American dream where you go, you get a job, you get
Hmm.
married, you have a
Yeah.
house with a white picket fence and stuff, and
Sure.
that's not everybody's end goal.
Absolutely.
It
Yeah.
works for some people, but not for
Sure.
others.
Hmm.
And I like that that's what this showed.
Yeah.
You know, Drax being thought of as a father. Like,
That's the one
like
that got
that's
me. That's the one that got me cry the
yeah,
most.
yeah. Like he's they mentioned a couple times that he's dumb.
Hmm.
That's their perception of him, and he doesn't understand metaphor and stuff like that, and it's brought up in there. But he understands things on an emotional level. You don't have to be a genius to
Yeah.
understand how
Hmm.
people are and how to interact
Well,
with people. And
emotional
so
intelligence is just as important as you know.
yeah,
EQ is just as important as IQ.
yeah. So like at the end when people separated, it was to go find themselves. Like that's
Hmm.
it's perfectly normal to be on your own.
Yeah.
Not everyone's out there. You have this huge galaxy full of weirdos.
Yeah.
There's like a planet of skin. They're
Hmm.
they're flying around a giant skull.
Yeah.
There's all this like crazy stuff. Of
Hmm.
course it's not going to be the happy ending is the guy gets the girl.
Yeah.
That's like not even like half of this planet is
Or
even like
Quill
that.
even realizing that he's avoiding the thing that he actually needs to do, which is he left home and never went back, like never resolved
Yeah.
8-year-old Peter Quill's issues, and
Right.
realizing he has to go back and figure that out instead of continuing to just paper mache over all of these cracks. Right? It's such a healthy choice that some
Yeah.
people maybe don't feel they have the courage to take.
The table he's sitting at the beginning of the movie is very different than the table he's sitting at the end of the movie.
Yes.
We open up on Peter Quill hunched over
Mm-hmm.
a bar table drunk,
Mm-hmm.
and to end him at a home on Earth in a regular old kitchen that we've all seen is a really fun. It's a
Yeah.
really nice arc, and it's not by accident.
Yep.
Drinking milk and eating cereal is much different than being drunk on a different planet.
Yeah.
But that's what's great is that worked for his story. He wasn't he did have hope that Gamora there would be some
Sure.
sort of spark in her mind that
Yep.
that the other Gamora existed, that she could
Yep.
be molded into that Gamora, but he realized it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Stop forcing yourself on
Yeah.
her.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pursue this.
Yeah.
There's happiness elsewhere.
Yep.
You got a whole galaxy. So it's sort of teaching lessons along the way. And what's nice about the Guardians is they each have their own sort of view on
Mm-hmm.
on what they should do. Like
Yeah.
Nebula was happy, building this
Society.
society.
Yeah.
She's a robot. She was mistreated by Thanos, her
Yeah.
dad, and turned into this abomination.
Yeah.
And here she is at the end dealing with a city of immigrants
Mm-hmm.
essentially that were all part of these experiments.
Yeah.
And she could see, and even though she's pretty much a robot, there
Mm-hmm.
is a little spark of humanity in there where
Yeah.
she feels empathetic towards them. And it's like that's what makes her happy, is being
Yeah.
able to help all of these hurting people. And so it's like
Mm-hmm.
every single little story
Yeah.
is has like their little happy ending, their small victories,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of just ends with all them just letting out this joy and dancing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I love it
So
so much. And then the
so it's
Dog Days Are Over is such a great song to use.
yeah, and it was great. It was like it was really fun, and but it's I love that it was not only a happy ending, but like five different kind of happy endings
Yes. Mm-hmm.
or six.
I love this, Charlie Weaver, your point here. It's a great point. We talk about the fact that Gunn made Rocket a Tony slash Bruce slash Reed level intellect. I think he'd be used well in the upcoming phases.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. I like that part of the storyline too because it gave great the Grand Inquisitor
High evolutionary.
it made him mad.
Yeah.
Here's this thing that I created, and it's outsmarting me,
Mm-hmm.
and he can't handle it. He
Yep.
has to be the best.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Which,
if something's not working out, he just destroys it and tries to
yeah.
restart over again.
Yeah.
Um, it's like there's a lot of messages in this, and I know that people get mad at things being woke and stuff. And there's some things where like alien walruses and octopuses and whatever like selling heroin on the streets, like that's like kind of hit you over the head stuff.
Sure.
But it's almost like a little distraction to the people who don't realize they're going to get hit over the head, not hit over the head, but secretly get a worm in their ear about other stuff that other messages that James Gunn's trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, hey, check out this moment. Isn't it awful that even in another galaxy they're selling heroin? And people could be up in arms like, oh, I don't need to listen to your messages. And then at the end, he just slips in like a message for Drax, a message,
Mm-hmm.
for Nebula and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Yep.
it's so well done.
Yeah.
The Peter stuff kind of hit me the hardest when he went back, and I didn't think it would.
Really? So, like, what about it? What about it?
Because here's the thing: like, if Drax hits you hard, that's because you are a dad and
Yeah.
you come from that place, and
Yep.
so you understand that.
Yep.
That like I have no frame of references of that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. I mean, I understand. I can,
Sure.
but like the thing is, like, Peter ran away from his family
Mm-hmm.
when he was 8 and got abducted.
Yeah.
And then threw him in the back. Just
Yeah.
who needs it? And he had
Mm-hmm.
his found family, which is
Yeah,
great.
family. Yep.
Yeah. But then when he went to revisit his grandfather, it was like one of those things where I lost my grandfather when I was young. I was 10 years
Mm-hmm.
old, Christmas Eve, 1987.
Oof.
It just, I mean, it's taken me like years to celebrate Christmas,
Sure.
just because it's such an awful thing. And so, first of
Yeah.
all, it's one of those things where it's like, man, I wish I could revisit my grandfather.
Yeah.
That's enough to do it. Like,
Yeah.
for some reason, I didn't see it coming, even though they kept
Yeah,
kept
with the
reminding you of the
picture,
picture, and I was just like, and so that kind of got me. But then also, like, my dad left when I was 17,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't talked to him since. And
Yeah.
I don't want to learn that lesson for Peter. It was a real moment of me
Yeah.
of everybody you can identify with.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is the one, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. And I was like,
I feel that.
I don't think I could do what Peter did.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like going back to your family, like his dad obviously was a,
Yes. Well, he's had
ego.
two phases of it, right? The second movie was his father, who just being
Right.
a horrible, a god, like just evil person
Yeah.
that he killed essentially. And then
But then
this
going
one
back
is
to
like,
your
oh, he's
family,
actually going to reconnect with maybe the more healthy, the strange
right,
family member.
right. Like, I'd much rather go visit my grandfather if I had the
Yeah.
opportunity, not
Yeah.
my dad.
Mm-hmm.
My dad could go blow up like a big planet, So that's what got me was that kind of stuff got me. But that's
Mm-hmm.
what's great about this group that James Gunn picked was all of their separate storylines that you talk about like diversity in movies and people
Mm-hmm.
can see their self up on screen, and
Yes.
he did that in this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it worked. I thought it was really good. I was too tense the whole time. I think a second viewing would be
Yeah.
much easier to handle.
Yeah.
But knowing that they all make it out okay, I can probably just sit back and relax and enjoy the yucks.
Yes.
But man alive, like it's probably the most heavy Marvel movie.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
more so than Endgame. Like even with like Tony Stark's death and stuff, it was a heroic thing that
Yep.
you kind of expected to come, and then it happened. Whereas this was like, I don't know what to expect.
Deeper. It just had deeper
Yeah.
stakes, like more real, like emotion. And it's so, it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, well, a robot woman and a cybernetically enhanced raccoon and
Like green alien and a tree
yeah, like
man.
all these things are what like actually, but you tie all these human experiences and emotions to it that if you're just telling somebody on paper this did that, you'd be like, that doesn't make any sense. But he made it work.
Yeah, and then you have Groot, who is just like sort of the glue.
Yeah. Yeah.
He can embrace everyone. He's like the physical, like,
and he does it physically, like where he brings them in and the roots come out so he can hug even more,
And even Adam Warlock, who's kind of definitely an outcast, flat out told in front of his face that he's like half made, like he wasn't finished. He came out of the cocoon too soon.
Yeah.
And just like his family treating him like a dummy.
Yeah.
And him just kind of being angry. He's just this angry punk going around trying to just hurt everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And when Groot saves him, it's nice. It's nice. Mm-hmm. It shows you that every toxic fanboy out there flying around, being an a-hole, getting in everyone's way, hitting everything that he's mad at, possibly, and I hope this is true, there's still hope that they can be like, you know what? Maybe other people aren't so bad.
Yeah.
And he was very reluctant to get in on the hug. Mostly the way he got in on the hug at the end was it felt like, is it okay if I do this?
Yes.
It wasn't like, it was like he was so happy to see a family unit, a found family, come together. And even though his people were all just gold people and there's thousands of them, he never had that connection emotionally with any of them, not even been with his mom.
Yeah.
And it was nice that he was able to, like, still reluctant, but get some sort of humanity in there to, it's really good.
Yeah.
But it was too tense. It was too tense for me. It was really too tense.
I love this call here from Charlie Weaver. I loved how he was able to make such an emotionally resonant film without any of the characters being killed for motivation or narrative stakes.
Right.
It felt like the vigilante peacemaker scene from the show. Which one? There's a lot, but
both of those guys are dumb, like toxic alpha male guys, and Peacemaker's so good.
Oh, Peacemaker.
I might need to rewatch that.
It's been a minute. I don't know when I would rewatch it, but I will at some point because I freaking love it. Let's see. Truly, Charlie, it never felt like it was a bait and switch. Their near deaths were genuine. Yeah.
And you thought when Rocket was ready to leave the ship and he's just standing there in front of all the cages, like, you're like, okay, he sacrifices himself.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
But then the apparently Eagly was in one of those cages.
I saw Eagly. I did see Eagly. Well, I saw a bald eagle. There's one bald eagle, and then I'm like, that has to be Eagly.
Well, I think James Gunn confirmed he did this kind of AMA thing on Twitter, and confirmed that that was Eagly in the box.
Eagly's getting work.
He, it's hard. It's hard out there for the trained eagles.
for CG animals. Yeah, that was great. I really liked it. I really did.
What was your thoughts on the High Evolutionary as a big bad for this? Was he in the rank of MCU big bads? there's an overall critique in MCU is that sometimes the big bad is paint by numbers, boring, like just a means to, move the plot along.
I
Thoughts on
think
him?
that's one of James Gunn's strong suits is memorable villains.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ronin and Ego and what is it? The High Evolutionary
High Evolution.
Are all like standout villains.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't remember who the bad. Oh yeah, I do. It was Scarlet Witch. I was like, I don't know who the bad guy was in Doctor Strange. I don't know who Shang-Chi was.
It was
Like
like
a
the
don't.
dude.
It's like
Old
the
guy.
dad or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just not. I don't know. There's something about James Gunn where he's like, I'm gonna make it big. But I mean, in order to do that, he had to make this dude really, really evil.
Yeah.
He was really bad to those things.
Yeah.
And then there was the scene, and Stevie brought it up, and it was like where he came in like drunk
Yeah.
and was yelling and stuff. Like
Mhm.
we don't really know
Maybe
what
some treatment he was
caused
taking or
that.
something. We don't know.
Maybe, but it could have just been to show his frustration. Maybe it'd been drinking or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was the he couldn't fathom that something he created was smarter than him. And I
Yeah.
thought that was another great sort of message, which is
Mhm.
like they say it. What did I just watch that said something? It was Ted Lasso. I think it was last week's Ted Lasso, where Nate and his girlfriend
Mhm.
were in bed, or he was on the computer
Yeah.
talking about his next game,
Mhm.
even though he just won the game that
Yeah.
day. And she says, you got to take your victories.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the message with this High Evolutionary
Mhm.
was like, instead of embracing that he created Rocket, this great thing,
Yeah.
and being happy, um, he gets frustrated
Mhm.
that he's been outsmarted by a thing
Yeah.
that he thinks of lower than
Yeah.
him. He doesn't bring on Rocket as a partner. He
Yep.
uses Rocket for his brains,
Yeah.
but gets mad that he has to rely on Rocket.
Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting. Like, I kind of beat myself up because I'm doing this movie right now, and it's like,
Yeah.
man, we have I think 22 great interviews.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, but I want to get, Harold Perrineau. And it's like, yeah, but
What interview you don't have yet?
we'll get there. You guys, I mean, this is a scoop. You guys are getting a whole day. Like we're doing more than just interviewing you guys. We want to do a little bit of a focus on you and Jack. And Stevie wants to come.
Yeah, if I only care if Stevie's coming out and
Yeah.
Stevie. That's it. That's in my
Yeah.
writer actually. I put it in there.
Okay.
Or my appearance.
But I mean, this is like we could talk about it later. But the plan is to shoot you and Jack for a day, and then Taylor will come in for that day. We'll shoot. He'll bounce, and maybe me and Stevie hang out for a weekend or so.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And hang out, go to some Targets and WalMarts, and laugh at you going and finding an end cap that's still in a box and looking for someone to help you. Can I open this?
I do that alone, so that way
I'm going.
Nobody laughs at me.
No, I'm going.
Oh, Jim Watari's here. Jim.
I haven't heard from Jim in a while.
It's been a minute.
But he's only here for Stevie. So everybody
I'm sorry, Ralph.
Has to understand how great Stevie is.
Yeah, I just listen, I love you, Ralph. Like I've known you for almost 20 years now, but Stevie's the best.
And so is Colleen. So there we go.
I guess Colleen's fine, I guess. It's Stevie. But yeah, no, I thought he was a good bad guy. I love the Animal Planet thing. But it was really dark. I was just like, they just blow it all up, and there's that scene with the family, and there's like looking, and then it just explodes.
Explosion, yeah, stuff like that. Always. I'm like, there's Happy Meal toys, guys.
There's Happy Meal toys. Well, let's look at these Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy Happy Meal.
And while you're looking that up, I went into the Discord, and I don't know if anybody sent you anything, but I said if they have any Stump Ralphs to send them to you.
I don't think anybody has yet.
Oh my gosh, what are you guys doing?
I'm sorry. All right, here we go.
And then I made fun of Kayla's, the one she did with the Princess Bride.
Yeah, that was too easy. But you know what? She tried. At least she tried. She sent one in.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's not called "Don't Stump Ralph." That's what I said. I was just bitter. Oh my gosh. Look how happy everybody is. Oh wait, their art positioning looks like they're doing like a pop lock.
Oh yeah, they're dancing
wave.
Yeah.
I don't think that Adam Warlock is very accurate to the movie version.
No. I think Cosmo's.
I like Cosmo. I like Cosmo. Groot's like, I'm Groot.
I don't know.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, they don't have the high evolutionary on here.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I really would love a Happy Meal toy, high evolutionary. Yeah, we refresh. Yeah, no.
Kraglin.
Go ahead. What's that?
Kraglin. There's no Kraglin.
Yeah, no Kraglin.
It looks like they hooked together like the McDonald Land train.
Yeah,
a little hook on the
side together. Yeah.
Maybe make a dance circle.
Can we talk about Cosmo? And I thought the Cosmo was a great character in this.
The bad dog.
The whole thing.
That's like the worst thing you could say. And she kept bugging him about it.
Yes,
Kraglin about it, and I'm just like, it's gonna happen. He's gonna call her a good dog. It's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
Mark
Zivert is here. Really love the movie and cry many times myself.
Mark also a dad, so I'm sure the Drax stuff hit him too.
Yeah. How dare you?
Dog.
Cosmo is great. Cosmo is great. Oh man. But overall, I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. It was tough, having to be around Colleen's negativity. But I persevered.
Did she end up liking it?
I think she liked it. I don't know. She's turned on the whole superhero movie thing. Which is weird because she's usually we're usually very lockstep in what we like together. But this made
me really excited for James Gunn's Superman.
Yes, agreed.
Especially since every picture he posts of Superman is some nice, like a bright image of classic Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can bring this kind of heart to machine gun wielding raccoons, he should be able to do something pretty good with.
Agreed. Can I just say, Colleen, she gives the eye roll here and said, "I liked it just fine." See, that's like the response she gives. She's like, "Oh, I don't want to see it." I was like, "No, it's gonna be fun. Alex loves Guardians. I love Guardians. It'll be great." And so she's like, "Fine." Gave an eye roll. Fine. And then it's an amazing movie. And then she's like, "Yeah, it was fine." That's what I get. That's the response I get.
Yeah. But she doesn't have to. She doesn't have to love it as much as you do.
That's fine. I just, she's like, "Oh yeah, I love that song. It's a great song." That's it. That's the only thing I liked about it was this song.
They just treat this like one of your toys. You really like it, and she could be okay with it.
Yeah, I guess.
But I gotta say, can I just say something? I've noticed a change in Colleen since taking over the site.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she's starting to get a lot of toy knowledge.
She is.
I don't know if you're okay, Colleen. Blink twice, because I don't know if you're being held hostage in your home. If he's got you experimenting on you with robot arms with robotic little things, because things will pop up and it's just like, oh man, Colleen's in deep now. with Motus and Colleen blinks once. She's doing a good job.
She's doing great. She's doing really,
great.
really good. She's doing really good. And she's picking up really fast too. And like early feedback was, okay, it's taking a little long to get these articles. You're gonna get quicker with it because this stuff drops all the time. And now she does like 10 articles in like an hour. Like she's kicking ass.
And she does the Ted Lasso reviews, which reminds me of our old Call Rights blog and stuff. It's nice. It's great.
You're doing great. You're doing great. High Evolutionary is definitely dead. Yeah, he's dead, right?
I think so. He was on the floor when it blew up, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he stole Peter's space boots.
That's where they were. Oh, man.
His face was real gross.
It was. Final thoughts. Loved it. You loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Agreed.
Looking forward to James Gunn's DC.
Is the next movie The Flash or Indy? What's the next movie? Big one.
I don't remember. I think Fast 10 comes out at the end of the month.
I'm not.
Wait, but isn't Colleen into the Fast and Furious movies?
Yeah, I mean, I like.
Okay, Jay. They're just fine.
They're fine.
You think they're okay? Yeah, come on, dude. That's what it's all about. You gotta, This is her Guardians. I don't know. I don't know if she likes it that much, but yes. So maybe Screen Geeks with just me and Colleen talking about Fast X.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so The Flash is next, June 16th. Indiana Jones is June 30th.
Okay. I'm excited about
The
Flash.
Fast 10 is...
Separating the artist from the art is going to be real tough, but man,
May
I'm looking forward to that Flash. Yeah.
It's to me, it's just like I'm going to Flash. Like, hey, it's the Batman Returns movie, and I guess Ezra Miller is there.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about
what?
Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah.
It was reported that Danny Elfman's doing the score, which we had to assume, but just now thinking about more Beetlejuice music from Danny Elfman, like amazing.
Yeah. It's Colin. You can make fun of the Flash, but you cannot speak ill of Batman. That's my only ask. Ralph, I thought of you today. Actually, boom, there you go.
Yeah. You didn't think about me once.
Yeah, they've announced it.
Yeah.
I believe what's her name? From Wednesday. Jenna Ortega.
She's playing Winona Ryder's daughter. She's playing Lydia's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's gonna be I don't know. I don't know the last Tim Burton movie I saw that I really enjoyed, but I mean, I'm hoping
in a minute.
I'm hoping like I thought from what I saw of Wednesday, I thought it was good. So maybe that gave Tim Burton a sort of a kick in the pants to go do.
I think it was just what Tim Burton needed to get out of the Disney live action CG remake shit.
Yeah.
Right, because he was in it for so long. And it was trash. Like, it's just so bad. And I felt like this got back to his roots a little bit.
Colleen is so lucky that my hurricane is out of reach. You're so lucky that I cannot grab my hurricane.
I'm surprised he did the score to Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I didn't realize.
He hasn't done a score since 1995. He put his name on it. Some other dudes did it. I would have gone with the woman composer.
Yeah. Why didn't it be him? Yeah, Spider-Verse. When's that coming out?
Soon. Let's see. They're all coming soon. Mark Vibbert should know. Mark Vibbert of animation.
Our very own Ryan Dole is working on the movie. He's June 2nd. So that's before all of these, or it's Fast 10. And
I have I have a message to Ryan Dole.
Okay.
Ryan, I've never spoken to you before.
Yeah.
But I love your passion for superpowers.
Yeah.
And the fact that he said Kyle Rayner on that other show, I'm like, that's the one I'm waiting for. I don't have a Hal Jordan superpowers.
You still don't?
No. So if anybody, John got me the statue version of the superpowers Hal Jordan.
You're right.
But
Okay.
if anybody out there, including Dole, anybody, I don't want to do international shipping, but if anybody finds a Hal Jordan, I do not need it on card. Just a really like a pretty decent one with power battery. Let me know.
Okay. I was just at the flea market. Somebody had superpowers. I can't remember if they had a Green Lantern or not. I know him pretty well. I'm sure he'll be there this weekend.
But you guys are the guys to talk to, because I can go on eBay and look, and I'm like,
sure.
I don't know if this is a repro power battery. I don't know if it's a whatever. And then Dole said now that they're doing the clear plastic for that jet, they could do Green Lantern stuff. And I'm like, I mean, do a repackaged Hal Jordan, a new version of Hal Jordan with a jet. Like it makes total sense.
Yep, I agree. Anything can happen. Anything.
Please. Everybody, I don't buy toys, but I will buy a Green Lantern or Lantern related superpowers. So make sure the line doesn't die like Motu, because we need to get to some. Need to get to some.
Oh my God! All right. Well,
I love this little guy. I love this little guy. He's so cool.
On that note, that'll do it for this episode of Screen Geeks. You can find Ralph at Casino Skunk, or at Live Action Star Wars, or at The Dharmalars, or at Get Lost Doc, or at Invincipod, or at I'm missing.
All right, let's do a podcast.
All right, let's do a podcast, or at
Cue the music.
Yes. Oh, you can find them all though on, is it casinoskunk.com? Is that one has casinoskunk.com has all the different contents that Ralph's puts out. What's next for Geek Dad Life? I got a couple of reviews. I'm working on them. They're gonna come out soon, hopefully this week, at least one of them. And I don't know if we'll do any live streams. I don't know if there's any big announcements that we'll do a live stream for, but you never know.
No Mo Tuesday?
I don't think so. They haven't messaged me yet about anything.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got the inside scoop.
No, I don't have any. I don't have access to any yet. My guess is if they're doing it like once a month, so maybe there'll be something later this month. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you very much for the chat for coming and hang out. And until next time, hasta luego. And goodbye. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, Colleen.